We start today with a bizarre and tragic scene on the Queensway early this morning. Wildlife officials had to euthanize a moose that had found its way onto the busy roadway in West Ottawa. The moose was spotted on Highway 417 eastbound near Pinecrest just before 6:30 this morning. Ottawa Police and OPP and Ministry of Natural Resources personnel used several vehicles to trap the moose along the median between Pinecrest and Highway 416. CTV's Annie Bergeron Oliver is at the scene. She's at Pinecrest and the Queensway. Annie, how did this unfold?
Backed up, and that's all because of a moose. Now, as you can tell, the highway is back to normal, but this wasn't the case earlier this morning. Both sides of the 417 in the Pinecrest area were bumper to bumper, and this was all because of a moose. Now, the first 911 call came in around 6 o'clock this morning. Somebody spotted a moose on the eastbound 417 near Pinecrest. That moose was there for several hours. It took until about 9:30 before finally that moose was moved. Now, unfortunately, this story might sound very funny, a moose on the loose, extremely Canadian. It had a very tragic ending. The Ministry of Natural Resources was called in to deal with this moose. The initial plans were to tranquilize it, but the ministry tells me that based on the advice of a veterinarian, they had to euthanize the animal. They says the animal was injured, but more than that, they say that the tranquilizer can take sometimes minutes, sometimes half an hour, even longer to take effect. They didn't know how the animal would react, and they say that public safety was a risk. A moose that size can do a lot of damage to the police officers and other individuals who are around, but also to the other cars and all of the traffic on the 417. Now, out of this tragedy, the animal will be given to the Algonquin of Ontario. They'll do a ceremony. They will also use the meat. That's what the Ministry of Natural Resources is telling us. Now, as you can tell, this highway has reopened, but of course, a lot of people talking about this moose today, talking about the image of a moose on the 417 in a downtown core that really, you don't usually see a moose there. They're also talking about extremely long commutes today, all because of this animal that is now making national attention. Back to you.
Yes, a pretty odd scene and a sad ending. CTV's Annie Bergeron Oliver reporting live for us today. Thank you, Annie. This is what the highway looks like this hour. Things are moving very well.